Alrighty, let us put this hat to a conclusion and put her together. Are you excited to see the final results? Why don't we get started right now? I have in front of me, as you can see, a pair of scissors. I have my yarn threader because I love using these. I have two different size needles that I have in front of me. This is the one that I will be using because it's a finer point and it'll enable me to get a finer stitch. And now you can see just by looking at the eye of it why I use a threader. And this one is really good for other purposes, but I will not be using it today. So I'll be using this needle. I have stitch markers of various sizes. And what we are going to do is we are going to actually start with the snout and work our way up, because if we put on the antlers first, it might weigh down the hat from the top. Even though the snout might weigh it down at the bottom, I still know where the placement needs to go. So we're gonna actually start with the snout before we do antlers and eyes. So we're going to do the snout, and then we're gonna do the eyes, and then we're gonna do a couple of little tufts of hair at the top in between antlers. It's gonna look so cute, guys. Really. I hope you're excited to get going with this. If you were following my tutorial, you will have left that opening and you will have marked that first stitch where you single crocheted together. The whole purpose of that is so that when I am sewing this on, because it needs to you need to use every stitch around in order to do it, but the middle part is going to get squished down here just a little bit. I'm just going to try to get that down a little bit so you see what I'm talking about, so that it gives that little bit of a ridge in the snout. Let's hold it this way so you'll see. It'll give a bit of a ridge as you're sewing it on. So, just to show you how I use this wonderful little gadget, and of course because I'm trying to do it on screen. Alright, so I stick my threader in through the eye of the needle. I take the yarn that I'm going to be using and I wrap it around and I pull through the eye. And voila, my needle is now threaded and I can start. I marked off on the back of my hat where we had finished our rows of repeat, and this is the bottom rows of your half double crochets in the back loops only, your row of single crochets in both loops, and your half double crochets in the back loops only to finish off the hat. We will not be doing anything to the back of this. This marker is here only for my purpose. So let us turn around the hat. I have folded my hat in half. As you can see, this is where my magic circle starts. So I have folded it and I have made it nice and flat so that this way I can gauge where the very front of the hat is. Okay, so there is where we started it. If I follow it down, this is basically the center part of the hat. What you want to do is, because I believe there was, how many stitches here? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 12 here. So the idea is you want to place this between the two rows of half double crochets in the center of the hat. And what you are going to do is you're going to start from the bottom part and you're going to pick up your thread, or your threaded needle, And you're going to center that right there on top of that stitch. And then you could adjust this after, of course, guys. Not to worry about that wonderful stuff. All right, so this is approximate center. And what you want to do is you want to grab from the hat and from where you have threaded your yarn. And I'm doing this without stitch markers, guys, because I'm like really used to doing this. And what I am doing is I am picking up the loop created from the half doubles in the back loops only. I am going to place it through my first loop on the hat, and I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to do that a second time in the exact same loop and stitch, because I want to make sure that that one stitch right there at the very bottom, which is very important, is secure. Now, I do it like this because this way your stitches do not show through on the inside of the hat. It gives it a nice clean thing. So you have 12 in total that we need to work through. So that was the first one. I will go through the second one, picking up that loop from the half doubles and going into both loops from the snout and pulling it through. That's 2. Don't pull it too tight, guys. Then you have 3, and you're going to pick up your third stitch. And then 4, because now you're going to do 4 stitches along that line there. And then you're going to come around and you're going to take the inside of your hat and you're going to place this down, and you are going to place the next 4 stitches through the eye of the center row, because the top part will be coming along the other row of half doubles. So that's 1, 2, keep playing around. Bye. Get in there. That's 3. And one more time, taking it from the singles into the hat, and that's 4. As you can see, this is getting very nicely secure. Right now I still have stitches to go. Now you're going to turn the hat around so that you can get at the top stitches, and you're going to use the half double crochets in this top row to fasten the next 4 stitches here, then the 4 stitches here. And what we are going to do is cinch this middle one down and make it very, very secure and give us that ridge. So let's continue. Where's my rows? So there we go. 1 in there. One in the next one. One in the next one. Now what I am going to do, since this is where my stitch marker is, I am actually going to just grab the hat real quick, and I'm going to go through the stitch. I'm going to go through the bottom one because I want this cinched, and come up, bringing up a loop from the hat in the back right through to that center. That's going to be your trickiest stitch, and then you are going to sew that together, and then you can remove the stitch marker and cinch that one just a little bit more. You're going to do the next one, but what you're going to do here is you're going to grab it from here, go into there, grab it through the other side and bring it up there. Pull through your stitches, and then what you're going to do is you're going to just pick up these two here real quick again. Get in there, baby. Come on, you can do it. And cinch that good. Now we have a few more stitches to go here, guys. So we're going to take it, if you remember, I said we're going to continue for the next 4 after that as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do one more from the double, from the half double, just to secure the top part of that. Now you're going to take from the single crochet row and just pick up a stitch wherever you can and go through the next 4, and then you will complete the other 4 on the bottom the same way in which you started doing the first 4, which is using the half double crochet rows in the bottom. And it doesn't matter here if you pick up the same stitch to fasten that part. You just want to get that fastened on. So I have 5 here, so I'm just going to go one more time to secure that one on the bottom. And now you're going to take from your half double crochet rows and go through the remaining 4 stitches on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Don't forget, we kind of sewed that together when we pulled on the top part and came through the bottom as well. So 4, that will secure it. I will do an end knot here just to secure the stitch. I've got a lot of thread here, so that's all right. So I'm going to do that. Cinch that closed, and the snout is now, and then you can just play around with the fiber fill in the middle so that it gives you that little hump there, spread it out, etc., etc. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to weave this in through the hat. I'm just going to poke it out through one area so that I hide it, come down through another area, because we just want to make sure it's secure. Then I'm going to go through it again, maybe come in this way one last time, pull out my thread, it is hidden within. And now I'm just going to cut that off. And you do not see the end of that stitch, and you're not seeing any of the stitches used on the inside of the rim of the hat. Okay, so now let's go to part 2, where we fasten the eyes on, where I am putting these eyes. Now, if you remember correctly, I said when you ended crocheting these together, these would be your tops. So you have to look for the bottom part here, which is your flat part here. What you are going to do is you're going to position them really anywhere you like. Okay, so there's your snout, because that's the way he's going to hang, right? So you want them as close to where the snout is going to hang on the hat. And you are going to do the exact same thing. You're going to thread your needle. And you're just going to go around picking up one stitch wherever you can. So I am placing this guy here. The second one will go here, because of the way the snout is going to hang. And I want them on either side. So center it. If you want, you can count your stitches on both sides. Make sure that you have your even kind of thing once your hat is flattened and straightened out. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I have 8 stitches on either side. And this is also where I am going to start sewing it in. So over here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of quickly put a stitch marker in here to mark this is where I want my eye on this side. And it really doesn't matter. There you go. Just go through it as best you can. Get in there. Come on, baby. Hurry. I'll stick one here, and I will put a bigger one on the bottom. Over here, because that's where I want to put my other eye. This one, I'm just going to take my hat once again, and I'm just going to start to pick up one strand of a previous row stitch. Just one strand is all you really need to fasten that on, and you are just going to go around the entire hat, going in through all loops on the hat. And you're going to go around the entire eye, placing it there, just like I'm doing here. Make sure you go through both stitches, or all the stitches on it, to securely put that on. And once you have got both your eyes completed, we shall meet back up with you, and we will get started on the other parts. If you have any questions up to this point, please don't hesitate to email me or ask me when I go live tomorrow. All right, we will be right back. Okay, so this is how it should be looking right now once you have your eyes attached around the snout. The idea was to get the flat bottom part to kind of round off around it and then come across on the side. Now what we are going to do is we are going to place the antlers before we place the smaller ears that we did. That will get placed onto the hat last, these two pieces here. So we are actually now going to do the antlers. I'm just going to unravel them because I have them both raveled up together. and I'm going to need to add some yarn to my second one here. Now, if you remember correctly, you had left an opening there as well. The idea is to incorporate every stitch around that opening onto the hat when placing the antler. The idea is so that it will sit, I got enough all over this, it will sit flush to the hat and not have a tendency, if you put it together, to just kind of flip-flop. So the idea is to incorporate doing the same thing you did with the snout. Place the antlers where you want to place them. Mark off your 2 stitches. I highly recommend going down. Let's see, I will tell you in a second. Oh my gosh, you're looking like a duck. You look more like a duck. All right, let's see. We are going to go about there for the antlers. So we're going to count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to go down 8 rows, and this will get carried down 8, 9, 10, and 11, and 12 actually. And then you're going to come up the other side of it and end right back there. So I'm just going to mark this spot here for myself. I am going to thread my yarn. And you are going to sew this on the exact same way that I showed you to sew on the snout. Make sure that you incorporate each and every stitch around the antler when you are sewing it on. Right there. Make sure that you are using all of those from where you put your original, whoops, that's upside down. Try that again. From where you marked your stitch marker. And we will fasten antler number 1. And you will do the exact same thing with the other one. You can eyeball it or whatever, but do the exact same measurements coming down and attach it in the same location. And we will meet you back up when the antlers are on. See you in a few. All right, and once you have your antlers on, you're going to notice that they kind of droop a little bit, but once they're on the hat, on the head, chances are they'll probably stand up more. This is just one of those silly styrofoam thingies, and this is what it's starting to look like. Now these 2 small brown pieces, what you're going to do is, if you remembered, you sewed them together to create that little bit of a canyon here. You're going to make sure that they're facing forward. You're going to go about 3 stitches below the antler, and you're going to fasten those into the hat as well. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a couple of tufts of hair. And how come I don't have a crochet hook with me? I have everything but my crochet hook. So let me just go and get a crochet hook, because that's how I normally do it. And I will be right back. All right, I have now come back with my crochet hook. To add tufts of hair, it's very simple. If you're adding fringe, or you have already, you're already familiar with how to add fringe, you can just ignore this and you can just place strands anywhere on the top of the hat that you want. What you do is you put your crochet hook in, you fold your piece in half, you grab it, you pull it through, then you take it and you grab both the strands, bring it up through the middle and pull. And you have your first one there. I'll do it another time. Let's see, I'll stick one over here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim these hairs, of course, to different lengths, just to kind of make it look a little bit funkier. We'll do that again. You grab it through, you pull up your loop, grab both strands, bring it through your loop, and pull, and it is fastened. So you can just keep doing that. I'm just going to do it so where it's facing me so I can actually see what I'm doing, not facing you. And I will come back when I have finished it, and I will put it on a proper size head so that hopefully everything shows up a lot better than it is on this. So we'll be right back after we've concluded with the hair. All right. So this actually concludes the making of this moose hat. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. As you can tell from the way it's sitting, you want to bring the hat up a little bit higher on the forehead so it's not covering your eyes and nose. And you might want to go back into where your antlers are and secure them a little bit better than the first time around to make sure that they kind of stick out on the sides. I hope you have enjoyed this 3-part tutorial on how to make a Brewinkle the Happy Moose hat. And until the next time, we will see you all later. Here is the front view. I will give you a close-up view, a top view. These are the few little tufts of hair. I combed some out and I just kind of like threw them all over the place. So that is the hat, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. Stay blessed, and remember, please do all things with kindness. Please don't forget to like. Please don't forget to share maybe, and possibly subscribe. Until the next time, bye everybody. Love you all.